Hello and welcome everyone here to another episode of Mikey's Flight Deck, the live stream today. And when you're talking yourself why I'm looking like this here, I see it's very difficult to have good eye communication with sunglasses on, then it's because we have a special guest today here. Let's say hello first to the stream, of course, to all our viewers here. Hello, Flugzeugfreak. Good to have you here. Steph R. Hello, good evening. Steph Thick 86. Good to have you here. And the Boeing 737 NG Project 737. God, what a name. Hello, Enrique Lang. Hello, Rico Black. Hello. Good to have you here all. And now I think we shouldn't let our guest wait anymore and say hello to Captain Bob. Hello, Captain. Hello, good to have you here this evening. I think this works out good for us here. You have stolen my outfit. That's absolutely original you. I have never seen a YouTuber with balls big enough to go online with this outfit here. Okay, yeah, let's get serious now, man. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's have a look into the stream. Some people are already here. Kings, how do I pronounce this? I don't know. Hello, good to have you here. So, what is planned for this evening here? I think it's mid of the day, right? Where you are, right?
Yeah, it's noon.
Okay, I hope you miss the lunch now because of the live stream here.
Oh no.
Okay.
No problem.
So, thank you for investing the time here, for being here, and let's make a small introduction from me about you, and then you can say something about you. I have seen Captain Bob, of course, here on YouTube, and he is one of the general aviation builders. He is building a Cessna 7172. There it is. Right, this is the small plane. I think every one of you is knowing this, the famous plane in the beginning times of the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Everyone has flown the Cessna. Yes, and he is making a very good running YouTube channel, I think. And so, right to you, Trevor. Um, can you tell us a little bit about your connection to flight simulation? How have you started this hobby?
Okay, so I actually started flight simulation, I think December 2017. So it's been about 4 years, I think. No, 3. So I started December 2017 when I got FSX Steam Edition, and I've been tinkering around with that, flying around, learning how to fly, until I started building my simulator in the summer of 2018. So it's been almost a year and a half after I first started, I guess.
So,
Yeah, roughly.
so a really fast switch. Well, now I have to, again here hearing myself again. Um, a really fast change from just flying on your desktop PC to having a real cockpit. I think for many of us, this is a process of several years, and this was only one for you. What was it that, yeah, um, how to say, hold you to this simulation scene? What was it that yeah excited you so much that you to go this step to a real size cockpit?
I think it was primarily the annoyance of learning keyboard shortcuts because I'm not very like I don't like to memorize things, so I don't want to say like, oh, Control Shift Enter Y is open the door or something. So I really wanted just a bunch of buttons to click everything so that I could have my own Cessna 172, and it kind of sprouted from there. It got crazier and crazier until eventually now I'm embarking on a fantastic project.
Yeah. Um, so right switch to the full size Cessna. It wasn't an option for you to have only, for example, the so-called button box. So just a small plate where you have some the most used keys or something like this.
Uh, it actually wasn't. I started with a little button box, and then I think I just wanted to impress people, so I went bigger and bigger. But it kind of grew from there, and from a little button box, just connecting switches, bare wires instead of using switches, to a working switch panel, and it kind of just sprouted from there.
Cool. Yeah, and I think it's absolutely a big learning process when you are making, building your own cockpit. You have to deal with everything, electronic, programming, and all this craftsman stuff. Yeah, right. So let's come to the type you have chosen of the plane. I think when you are starting a cockpit or a full size cockpit, there aren't so many options out there. The Airbus A320 is there and the Boeing 737. I have seen some 767s, something like this. What was the reason for you to choose the Cessna?
Uh, Initially, it was because if I was going to go onto or if it's kind of part of the flight training path, so I could use the Cessna for instrument flying a little bit and also learning the systems, and I could use it as a trainer. So that's something that really made sense for me to do. So I could do a lesson, refly the lesson in the sim, see what I learned from the flight before, and learn on the ground, which is a lot cheaper. That was a huge factor in it. And another huge factor was the fact that Cessna 172s are a lot smaller than 737s. So I can easily fit it in my basement.
Yeah, is it so much less space that you need for a Cessna? Okay, when we only look to the hardware model, not the projector view, for example, is it so much less space? Yeah. Have you
Uh,
a dimension for us? How much is the width of a Cessna?
the width of a Cessna is about, I believe, 42 inches. I can translate that to
Oh yeah.
actual
Oh
measurements.
yeah. Give it to me in metric.
That's 1,066 millimeters or
Yeah.
106 centimeters.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I haven't measured mine. Okay, I think it can be a little bit smaller. Hmm. You see sometimes out there when you're looking to other YouTube channels, there are, I think, uh, paper card boxes. They are looking like this, which is a Cessna, and you're sitting here, and the co-pilot is here. Is this really right? Is this the feeling in a Cessna?
A little bit. It is pretty cramped once you have someone next to you. So, but I find it comfortable enough to fly. And if you want to get a little more space, you can go with the 182, and that'll also get you a little more speed too, I think.
Okay, yeah, and I think for all of though, first of all, to the chat, to everyone, if you have any questions to Captain Bob here, then write them down here in the stream. I will have a look from time to time there, and we can discuss them here live. Yes, the Cessna is also a model when you are building a smaller model. Just for you out there, when you're building a smaller model, you are able to land in much more airports and small airfields than you would be able in an airliner. I think, are there small airfields you like to fly in the simulator?
Uh, that's a little funny of a question because I have only really flown from international airports in my Cessna 172, which kind of completely uh, removes the point of having a Cessna 172 with a super short landing distance. Uh, I do fly from my local airport a lot, and that's really fun. I can't do that in a 747 safely. I have done it though, and I also like landing at soft field runways.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it is a luxury to be able to land anywhere.
Everyone has made a 747 landing on Lukla before. Absolutely, it's a must in a simulator. Okay.
It is.
So, where are you? Can you say this? Where are you located in the U.S.? No, right.
I'm in the U.S. Yes.
Yes. And where are you? So, what is the home airport there for you?
I don't think I'm allowed to say it.
Ah, you're okay.
So
Right.
yeah, it's a
Okay.
fun little secret.
Okay. Having the let's keep the secret hot. So if you if you can get this, keep it for you. So, have we any questions here in the chat? Computer, yeah, that's a solid name. Awesome to see Captain Bob on this channel. I'm super amazed by his skills. You, me too. That's the reason why he's here. So, how old is Captain Bob? And I think it's a question you don't really answer even in your live streams, right?
No, it's another fun secret. So everyone gets to guess. So if you put put a guess in the chat, I'm not gonna confirm it, but it's just fun. So I don't share my age online just because then you have like a birthday, and then the next thing you know, the FAA wants to take my SIM.
It's much better than ours. Let's take it. Okay.
Oh.
So yeah, let's raise the user interaction here right in the age of Captain Bob in the chat while I'm asking another question here. Do you think general aviation cockpits are easier to build than an airliner? We have talked about this. Is it smaller? Okay. But is it easier to build?
Okay, so this one is a really loaded question. You could take it a lot of different ways. But I think if you look at it initially, if you're just going to go for a simple flight training device, absolutely. Yoke, rudders, throttles, switch panel, and instrument panel. Those are like a few things. You can slap a monitor onto a desk, put a yoke on a desk-mounted yoke, buy a switch panel, buy a radio panel, and that's basically it. Whereas a 737 has a lot more systems. But I guess it's a little bit of you could take it either way, because I think it's yes and no, because the Cessna 172 is a lot more analog than the digital newer 737s. If you were going to do an older steam gauge 737, it would definitely be harder than the 172 analog. But just because it's so analog, you push air actually with your control surfaces. To get it perfect, I think it would be harder because you have to get your yoke force feedback, and I think it's about the same if you go super deep into it. And yeah.
Yeah, right.
I guess
when I think about the artificial horizon, I think it's called. This is one gauge. What I wouldn't know right off the box how to build this, because several things are turning there. Even if you are reducing it to an absolutely basic version, it's still very complicated to build. Yeah.
Absolutely. And another thing I realized was that the course deviation indicator, the VOR, it has like one needle and then another needle for the glide slope, and then it has a little flag, and you'd have to simulate the flag, and then you would have to simulate maybe even another flag in between the needles. So it can get really confusing to build.
And you really fast can run out of space behind in such a gauge for these mechanics to move all these needles. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you certainly need a tighter tolerance.
So so what have we prepared here for you to ask you? So have you a plan? Of course, I think you have a plan behind this project, but is there something like a rough schedule for your whole project, or are you building just from, like me, from one problem to another?
I do have a plan for what I'm gonna do first, and I do have like a number in my brain for when I want it finished. But if you take the engineer's rule where you take your time, you think you'll need double it and then increase the unit. So like if I was like, I want my simulator in 2 years, then it would be 4 years, and then it would be 40 years, so 4 decades. So if you use that rule, it could theoretically go on forever. But I think it'll be done within 10 years, kind of.
Yeah, 10 years. I think this is it's a realistic size for every cockpit builder. I have seen a post on Facebook some month ago where someone has written he has now finished his 737 cockpit after 12 years of building. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think this can happen really fast when you are doing everything by yourself. I think when you buy panels, then you can increase the build speed. I've seen another one who has started a professional cockpit. He was also in my cockpit show, and he has the goal to build it in maybe under a year. The cockpit has to be flyable. So yeah. When I have talked about this buying panels, was this an option for you on any time buying things, or was it always the goal to make everything by yourself?
I think the idea is to make most of the things by myself. If there's something that I can't easily make by myself and it would look better purchased, for example, I have these altimeter motives panels that are just an overlay for the panel so that you can have all the instruments in it. I think this would be a lot harder to fabricate myself than because I don't have a laser cutter or let alone like anything big enough to cut it precisely. So I'm going to use this overlay for the panel, and then I'll try to make most of the other things myself.
Yeah. Are there some parts that you would recommend to buy instead of build?
I think it really depends how like deep into the cave of flight simulation you want to go. Because if you want to just start up a simulator that you can fly around with, I would recommend buying a yoke and rudder pedals, just because those are they get worn down so much that if you're new to building things, you can make them too flimsy. In fact, the yoke I was designing about half a year ago is super crazy. My Cessna yoke. I haven't ever talked about it, but it's super weak, and if you, it doesn't feel realistic at all. So I would recommend buying yoke and rudder pedals, but definitely make the instruments if you or use a monitor, and then I would recommend making the radio stack too, because you can do that a lot cheaper.
Okay. So let's have a look to the questions here again in the chat here. Mattia Monopoly, how much did you pay for Pro 777? I think this is a question to me. Not much. I'm paying with my work because I have a corporation. So, Kings Isen, is there a limitation on how many switches you can connect to the ground of an Arduino, or is it unlimited? Sure. I think this can also maybe answered by you, Trevor. I think you also have much knowledge in Arduino and connecting switches, right?
As long it's not like unlimited, but you have to make sure it's like practical, of course, because if you get like a short in one of the wires and you wire them all in series, and you have a lot of configuration and troubleshooting to do. So I wouldn't make it so enormous that it's painful if you have a mistake, but I would probably go with like 50-ish. Yeah, just do one per as much as you need for an Arduino. You could connect an entire Arduino with one ground, but I usually split it up. So there's like probably 15 to a ground. That usually works pretty well.
Yeah, and I can only think for me. In my project, I'm also trying to keep everything modular in several panel sections. Now, right at the moment, I'm building the overhead panel, and there I'm concentrating that the ground of every panel section is connected and shared, and then it goes to the Arduino, and not more connections than other switches go out. It's not that one Arduino is the ground Arduino, for example, for me. There I can connect now with MobiFlight up to, I think, 69 something in the 60s switches or LEDs to the Arduino, and so many ground connections are there. Yeah, not everything, not every switch has its dedicated ground connection to the Arduino. The switches share the connection, and one connection goes out always to the Arduino for every panel section. Steph R, there is another question. Can you show pictures of your cockpit, Captain Bob? I think
I can.
Yeah, we will come to this. I have one question. I think I'm very excited to ask this one, and then we go to some pictures of your cockpit, so that the audience can see what you are working on. We have talked right at the moment about buying panels, and I think this is an option for many builders. When they build a full-size cockpit, they are looking for a manufacturer and buying these panels. Maybe the full package with switches and so on, or they get the switches cheaper anywhere, but most of the builders are buying some stuff. This costs money, of course, and I think for a young builder there is a lack of money, I think, for building such a full-size cockpit. And how are you dealing with this situation? Or do you say, take my money, I'm buying what I need?
This is such a good question. I really like answering this. The primary way to save money is to be creative. That is probably the best advice I could have gotten as a young flight simulator builder. You don't have to do things exactly through the laws of aviation. You can kind of tweak things, find things that would work, and then put them together and create new solutions. If you're thinking that you need like a bunch of CNC milled parts for your rudder pedals, it's going to be really expensive. If you find if you like make them out of wood, things that people wouldn't think about, and go for it, try new things and learn from your mistakes, you'll save a lot of money. This is something it's a little bit of a catch-22, because you do spend a lot of time making creative solutions, and if you like take time out of work to work on your cockpit and you don't enjoy working on your cockpit, you might actually be losing money, because if you work like 100 hours on something that costs $100, it'll be I don't know. You have to make that decision for yourself. And we also have a quote from the Tooth Fairy. Lower your expectations. That's the only way you'll be happy in life. That's the joke. Because you obviously don't want to lower your expectations too much, but find creative little solutions.
Yeah. This is something I hear from viewers of my channel sometimes. Yes, when I have the tools you have, or if I would have such a big shop like you have, then I could make my cockpit. And I think many of your videos are a good way to show, no, you don't need very high-end tools or big machines or a shop to start building a cockpit. Just 3D print some parts, or even drill holes into a plate, put a switch through it, and connect it to an Arduino, and you're ready to go. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is a huge point.
So let's come now, I think, to the pictures of you. Have you some pictures that you can show to the audience so that they can get an image of your work?
I do. I'll share my screen right now.
Very cool. Then we can
So,
switch to our fancy screen sharing view.
not my recycling bin. That's not where it is. I did do a picture essay just barely for school, so I have tons of pictures of my progress and calculus homework, but we'll focus on the progress. Here's a picture of my current simulator. I guess this would be the most recent one. Where is it? Come back. Right here, this is just a picture of one of my panels and having it all cut. And right here, I'm measuring to make sure it actually fits on the wood, because that would be a little embarrassing if it didn't. Something maybe even cooler than this picture is I actually have it right here. It's pretty heavy, but it'll do. So I have it right here. And
So,
you can kind of see just pictures.
This isn't not a panel. This is from the shell, right? You're building. Yeah. So
This is.
for everyone who hasn't seen the live streams of Captain Bob, right now he has modeled in Fusion in 3D the Cessna model, and now there came out the first parts for building it in real size, right?
Yes. So these are the first wave of parts, and I just hope my mistakes I've made on them aren't too big.
Yeah. So a good example, you don't need a big CNC for cutting out this. Make a printout, and there are even cheap or non-profit programs out on the market to print out pictures in real size here in posters and in several segments here. You can bring them together and use them as a original paper layout. Yeah, template. So that's a call.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go on. Do you have any pictures showing something? More an overview of the actual build.
I don't have any pictures that are more descriptive than that because I've just started building everything. But I do have a picture that is not a picture, but it's actually a Fusion 360 file. So right here, you can see my most recent project progress, and I will make it bigger. And you can see right here, this is how I'm going to make all of the ribs. They're going to be like this, and I'll push them together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you worked with Fusion before this? So was there a long learning way, or have you learned on the job?
Both, actually. I've learned so much in the past month about Fusion 360, but I've also used Fusion 360 for probably about a year and a year and a half-ish. I think that's about when I started. So yeah. Because yeah, last year I think I was designing things that were super hilarious. So I've been using Fusion 360 for a year, which definitely makes it easier once you're more fluent. But if you just start out and learn as you go, I'm confident that you, the viewer, can figure it out.
Yeah. He did it, and you can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. So, what is the plan behind building this in 3D? I think you are also are based on a printout or some measurements there, and the goal behind this modeling, what is it? To get a one-to-one taper templates or anything else?
Okay, so I do want to show you my method of getting paper templates because I think it's pretty cool, though I do need to fix it a little bit. But basically, I created this model right here, and you can even see it printed out in plastic, just as a desk toy. I guess it spins. But you'll see it right here, and then it's really fascinating because this is one-to-one scale, so I could take dimensions from this, I guess from like here to here or something. And then the distance is 15 inches right there. So it's really cool. You can take dimensions from it. They're going to be rough because it's not perfect. But the coolest thing is you can actually take drawings. So this is a drawing of the front section. Since I redid it, I need to fix it. But let's see. I just want to show you the first rib right here. And then I have a pretty solid drawing of the first rib. That's this huge piece of plywood I'd have down here. So you can take Fusion 360 model and make a one-to-one drawing out of it. Yeah, the scale is 1-to-1. So that's something that I think is really powerful with Fusion to drawing.
Okay, then for you, the viewers out there, so this can be an option here. You have to invest a little, not a little bit time, several time designing this and also learning the program, but otherwise you only have a 2D, mostly 2D image, a blueprint. Yeah, that's the name of it, from several perspectives and measurements on it. And here you have the 3D model built in your ribs, what would fit in your simulator. Yeah, here we can see this is the base, I think, for the construction, and then you can take printouts for your cutouts and make these ribs and so on. Yeah, okay, that makes definitely sense then.
Yeah. So basically what I did, as he said, was I took drawings like this, and you can do this even if you don't want to model a simulator. You can take drawings and kind of figure out the rough shape and dimensions from just drawings like this. And you'll notice it says FS, and that's firewall station. I think that's what it stands for. And it's every inch from the firewall, which is right here. So yeah, you can find tons of diagrams like this that really help out. Oh yeah, this is fun graph.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and this is then the base for your first measurements or rough measurements then here. Okay. And how much of the Cessna do you plan to have built original in your room then later?
Can
you show this? Okay, there.
Yeah, right here. I have all of these sections in my bodies folder, and then we have section 1 that I'm working on right now. I'll even isolate it so that it looks cooler. I have section 1. That's what I'm working on right now. It's just the slightest bit of Cessna. I have section 2. That's the important part with the panel and part of the windshield. That'll be a fun adventure in itself. And I think also it'll carry the yokes too. We have section 3, that is the pilot's chair, and then section 4, the co-pilot's chair. So altogether, it makes up about this much space. So roughly this.
Okay, we will have a look to the 3D printed model right now when we are back to a bigger view. Okay, And do you want to keep this modular too, your Cessna? Okay, first of all, here, your model, the 3D model. There it is now,
Yeah.
just for you.
It's right here. So this is the model. It's 1:25 scale. So of course I didn't want to print one full scale. That would be kind of a waste of filament. And I think I calculated it cost like $20,000. So here's 1:25 scale. And you can kind of see the shape of it, which I really like. I just like to see it, and it kind of gives you like a feeling of where it is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely cool, and I like the way you come later, your way to the finished drawing. Then, and I think for everyone who wants to start with a 3D model, then you come out with good plans to build this, especially when you want to build a shell. So for me, I'm not planning to build a shell. I'm just building from the inside to the outside, most because I'm sitting in this cockpit. But I also have seen many builders, like the famous Norwegian 737 project, who started with a shell and went to the inside when the fully polished outside was finished. So let's have a look to the chat again. Static86. Can you tell how to divide the simulator into several computers? One for instruments, one for screen, etc. I don't think any one of us here is right at this moment. Or have you done this already, divided to several computers?
I personally haven't done this. I think you can do this with SimVim and Air Manager. I believe if you get an Ethernet cable and link them together. Air Manager is super good at this because I think it sends via Wi-Fi to like an iPad, so you can have multiple devices connected to each other. And then you'd have to have the main one showing visuals. Another way I think would be WideFS. So you can use that. It comes with FSU IPC, I think, and you install it. And then that would let you do special things. So I think you have to register that one. So I think that's the most advice I have.
Yeah, I think this WideFS, it's the Peter, I think it's called Peter Dawson, the developer of FSU IPC, and he has also this WideFS and some other programs in his repertoire. And this would be a method. SimVim, I think, is only for X-Plane, or am I wrong there? I
think it's only for X-Plane, but I believe they're working towards FS 2020.
Okay. Here, then I hope there are some attempts to do this. And I have also seen a project, a 737 builder who is running a full cockpit, outside view, everything on one single PC. So it is possible, and he's doing this with a PMDG. So this is the base for the simulator. I don't know which simulator version, if it's FS 2004 or FSX or prepared, but one single PC. So if you are asking yourself out there how to do this, it is also possible on one PC, but I think many builders are doing this on several PCs. So, okay, that was it from the chat right now. Let's come to another question here to you. We have seen the plans for the Cessna right now, some blueprints and so on. do you have some recommendations for getting knowledge on an airplane or a cockpit building project?
Absolutely. So some of the Cessna 172, like specific to Cessna 172 resources I have are basically specific are Alan Glenn. He's building a Cessna 172, or I think he kind of, it's been a while since he updated it. So he has a lot of free 3D models that are super good for the flaps, I think. He has his radios all good to go. And then he also has, I believe, a good model for a key. Flying for fun, I think that one as well has a good amount of resources behind it. Home Sim Pilot is really good for if you want kind of a modular, like buy panels and put it in a simulator. I think that's really good resource if you want to do that. And then Flight Sim Maker is building G1000s primarily, and they're phenomenal. I really like using them and building them. In terms of manuals, I go to your general aviation planes have a huge advantage because, especially the Cessna 172, it's so common that you can find manuals online super easy. The maintenance manual is one that I really recommend using. It just has a bunch of pages and it's like, oh, if the landing gear is broken, do this. So I find that super easy because you can kind of take their instructions for fixing things and build it. And they have a ton of pictures. POH, so the Pilot Operating Handbook, that's another one you can use, and you can find the dimensions like I had earlier with the just the rough dimensions of everything. You can also have illustrated parts catalogs, so the catalog of all the parts they need, and those can give you inspiration.
Yeah. And I think also good to know for all of you out there, the more known or used a plane is, the easier it is to get knowledge. And you have said this: the Cessna is the training plane for everyone. So there is tons of documentation out there in the net, and the more rare your project is, the more difficult this will be to get knowledge through. Yeah, let's come to YouTube here. And when I'm saying YouTube, let's have a look at the stream. A330 fan. Hello, the Aerodreams team. Hey, good to have you here. Yeah. So again, if any one of you have any questions here to the Cessna's 172 project of Captain Bob, just write down the questions in the chat and we will discuss them here. So YouTube is also a big topic for you because you are doing a weekly live stream. I think this alone is always a big project, especially when you want to bring content for your viewers and not only having a loose chat session, for example. So what was the reason behind this, that you are doing a weekly live stream here, and isn't this costing you much time that you could invest into your cockpit build?
That's an excellent question. I started these live streams a while ago, somewhat to practice public speaking, and I think I've gotten better at that recently through live streams. And honestly, one of the reasons I did live streams when I was starting was because you had to have a certain amount of watch time for every live stream, and I really wanted a certain amount of watch time for monetization to get ad revenue. And when I started, I was really angry about that or something. So I really wanted to start live streams to kind of get watch time a little bit. But as I've done them, I've realized that they're a really handy tool. And even though I passed the amount I need, I find that they're a fun chat room that you can kind of connect with people of all different flight simulator backgrounds, and it's really powerful to see so many people like come together in a hobby that they all love and have a positive aviation atmosphere.
Yeah. And you are not only doing a live stream, there is a podcast to the website you are doing. Is there anything I have forgotten now?
Um, YouTube, podcast, live stream, and website. I think that's it. I was doing a few articles, but I realized that those are really boring to write, and I'd rather work on the simulator. So
The Discord channel, right?
now,
I think you're also having a Discord channel, right? Where people are meeting?
yes, I do have a Discord channel. So in any of my videos, you can check the description, and there's a link to a Discord community you can join, and then that's really helpful because you can connect with more people in like a friendly chatting way.
Yep. Yeah. YouTube regularizations concerning ads. That was a big hit. Also for me when I started the project. I think there was the possibility of getting ads after it was not much 1,000 views or something like this. Then they changed. It was I think 10,000 views. I think or 1,000 hours of watch time, something like this. So I also get this this obstacle, and then they changed it again. Now for all you out there, when you are seeing ads before the videos, then the channel must meet some points, and this is 4,000 hours of watch time the year right now, and the minimum of 1,000 subscribers, I think, to the channel, and this watch time can be a problem, especially when you are a small channel starting, and if you are a very specialized channel. And cockpit building is a really specialized thing. It's not I'm jumping into a pool of Coke, for example. You won't earn millions of clicks. Yeah. And are you getting input also for you from the live streams, or is it just entertainment for the community?
Absolutely. I've gotten so much input through both live streams and comments on how to do things better and how to like create things better. So I've had, once I start a live stream, there'll sometimes be people that are like, have you considered doing something like this? And I'll be like, that's a good idea. I'm going to write that down. So yeah, that's one of my catchphrases, I guess. So it's really powerful because you get like, it's kind of like a think tank. Everyone's so smart. And if you type it down, that makes you even smarter because I can tell now. Oh yeah. So I get so many great ideas through these live streams too.
Yeah. So when you are watching a live stream concerning a project you like out there, just be part of the stream, and if you have some input, write it down in the chat. And you have also made a new format. I think you're getting right the big late night show. People could call you via Discord, and then they are live in your live stream, liver than live. No?
Yeah, I figured out how to do that. It's a little interesting though, because you have to, because it is live and you have to be. It's funny with that, but yeah, I like it a lot.
So you're planning to continue this format, or doesn't it help you much because you can't continue your work modeling live, for example?
I think it has a lot of helpful attributes to it because you can see other people's perspective and they can talk live about what they're like, what's on their mind and any ideas they have. I think
You.
I'll continue it.
Then let's have quick look into the chat again. Static86. I remember that when I started building the simulator, Captain Bob was my first inspiration. I have learned a lot, so thanks a lot to everyone who is recording their process. Yeah. Yes, you can say this in enough recording and working on a YouTube channel is a big extra time package that you have to deal with. I can only talk for me. It is, I think, nearly a third of the time I'm investing to this hobby is YouTube. Just bringing out videos, cutting it, making thumbnails, and so on. Is this a comparable amount of time for your channel?
I think honestly that's a pretty good estimate. Uh, I kind of I might just slack off a little bit because sometimes I'll just rush through my thumbnails and be like, I just want to work on the simulator, or actually more often it's I just want to go to bed because usually I'm editing at like 11 the night before, or I want every video to go out on a Tuesday, so usually I'll edit like at 11 o'clock Tuesday. That's like when I'll finish up. It's very similar I do English essays. It's really funny how that editing works. But yeah, I think a third of the time I use for the simulator, about a third would be editing, and I think that's a good estimate.
Yeah. So when you are interested in such a topic, go on also on YouTube. There are several videos about this topic, and people are showing you how much time they invest. You can invest hours just for a thumbnail because a thumbnail is the first thing and maybe the only thing viewers see to click on and to watch your video. And this is even only some seconds. They see the thumbnail and scrolling to other thumbnails, and there we are again, a guy jumping in a pool of coke. Yeah. So back to you and your cockpit build. What was the most challenging part that you have built until now?
Oh, let's see. As I said before, the yoke I made was super flimsy. So you'd be doing it along and the potentiometer would just snap and you're like, oh, I don't think that's how I wanted it to go. So I had a ton of challenges because I'd have to make the springs around it so it would twist back and forth and return to center. I think the most challenging part was definitely the yoke I was designing before. I've kind of scrapped it a little bit. Don't worry, it's still going to exist. But I think now that my skills have improved, it'll be easier to do. So yeah.
I haven't seen all of your joke videos. I remember of one, and this was more like a 737 joke. This one coming up and with these springs that hold it back in position, right? This was your video, no?
Yes.
Yeah, but the original Cessna yoke is like you all know the honeycomb yoke that goes in and out, no? Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Are you planning? You have said that this would be an object to buy for builders. Are you still planning to build one yourself?
Yes, I'm too foolish to put a pre-made yoke in my panel.
So, okay. Here, so again, another interesting topic and project for some videos, I think. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Here. So I think we have talked our topics that I have prepared for today. Nearly absolutely point landing now. one hour of stream here. And guys, if there aren't any more questions, then we will come now to the end. So this is your last chance for questions here to Captain Bob. So I think, is there anything else that you can tell us about upcoming new projects on your channel, or something really excited that you have planned for this year, for example?
Okay, I think the entire project is exciting. That
Absolutely,
uh,
absolutely.
I I am looking forward to using bending thin plywood to cover up the rib. In fact, here's one of the ribs. I don't think I showed you, but it's super huge, just to like carry in. So that makes it really interesting, just how big the simulator is going to be. So I'm really excited to build all of the sheathing, I guess, for it.
Yeah,
So that's something we're excited
the
about.
the seven Norwegian 737 project. I think there was also the amount he has made. I think two layers of plywood, and always sanding and filling between. And this is something you will have too. Yeah,
Yeah, I need to become good friends with my sandpaper, unfortunately.
definitely. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I had this question in my mind before. When I hear this, are you planning to keep this modular? So when you are laying plywood over it, this can be a moment where you can't disassemble it, maybe.
Okay. Oh, that's a brilliant point. I think you asked that earlier, but
Yeah.
I think I glossed over it or something. But I plan to keep this as modular as I can because that'll make sure that I can replace pieces. And with my drawings I've already made like 3 revisions. So I really want to be able to just take something off, be like, oh, this looks better, and then put it back on. So yeah, as modular as I can make it, but I also don't want to make it so modular that it looks hideous like an octopus sea creature.
Yeah, you have shown this the sections in your model, no? Pilot, co-pilot section, and so on, and you are planning to build these as a section, so you can pull out the pilot section, for example, for itself.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the plan. And I might also want to have like an ejection thing. So if the co-pilot is being super annoying, I could just like shove him out of the plane. That would be pretty
Okay.
fun. His entire section, like, get out of here. That
Okay.
would be hilarious.
Yeah. Again, to you, the viewers here out there, when you are building a full-size cockpit, you should take into consideration what you can do when you have to move with this cockpit. And the other way would be destroy your cockpits, saw it into pieces. But I think there are more clever ways. You can, yeah, pre-think this and plan your cockpit on a modular base. Yep. Okay, definitely. Yeah, me too. I have planned the cockpit, the sides, the roof are 3 parts that can be taken apart. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Good plan to keep this modular. So a little bit again here in the chat. Why did you choose the name Captain Bob? I think, okay, this is a question that is interesting for me too.
So I don't know why I chose it actually. I guess it's just a generic name. My name is obviously Trevor, but when I started the channel, my parents were super against me sharing my name because I don't know, it's just kind of a creepy thing being on YouTube, especially as like a minor, because yeah, creepy stuff can happen sometimes. So I didn't want to. We decided to not share my name, and to instead go by the alter ego Captain Bob. And it does sound like Bob the Builder, and I obviously build stuff, so kind of goes along with that just a little bit. So yeah,
Yeah.
Captain Bob, I guess, was inspired part by Bob the Builder and part because it's a name that I've like pretended to go by part of my childhood life too. It's a little funny.
Okay. Um, yeah, when you say this, these creepy things on YouTube, do you also have negative things here on YouTube? I think for me here, you know, these when you get a bigger a big channel, then you yeah, you have reached the goal when you have the haters on your channel. I think on YouTube, I haven't had any of these until now. Are there some problems on your side?
Oh, I've had a few, but that's just uh, because I would agree with them. Some of my earlier designs, I honestly like agree with them. Like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have gone with plywood for like a bridge, or like I'm like, yeah, it would definitely be better to not use melted plastic um unless I like perfect that method more using like flatter sheets. So it definitely, I do agree with a lot of them, but it is painful when I don't agree. It's okay though. Everyone has their different opinions, and if you don't kind of respect that, I guess that says some stuff about you too.
Yeah. And, in my channel too, people can um, write down in the comment section what they would have done on a different way, or what they would make in a different way, and maybe better. But yeah, but always over this all stands, it's still my channel. I can take your advice, but I'm I can make it so, or stay to my plan. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's feedback is definitely good, but you don't always have to follow it either. You can do whatever. You
Yeah.
do you.
Yeah, you can make it right for everyone. So you make it right for the first one, then the second one will tell how dare you, and so on. Yeah, definitely. So what have we here in the chat? To Bob, genau. Are you planning to build a 737 or a A320 sim after the Cessna? In 10
There's
years, 12 years, I think.
uh I don't this is a brilliant question because I don't know if I'm gonna even finish it. I'll probably be like, no, I need to polish the yoke or for like another 40 years or something. But my plan is to start building another simulator and go off of that. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be the 737. I might want to do something exotic like a flying car or something. I don't know. That'd be fun. Uh, I just want to, I think a 737 would be a good project, though, especially because it's documented so well.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, and to finish your project faster, you can buy my plans. Just a quick hint for you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, A320 fan. Yeah, genau. You can start dissing me if I want to. No, thank you. I think we keep polite here, everyone, and keep up the good quality of material we all produce here. So then this will be the end of the stream now. First of all, to Captain Bob here, to a place somewhere out there in the US. Thank you for being here and investing your time. I think it was it's very for me very interesting to get a look into another project, cockpit general aviation, a totally different project than I'm working here every day. Thank you out there. you all for being part of this live stream here, for your questions. Some last words here from Captain Bob.
Don't forget to be awesome and have a fantabulous day.
Okay, that's it. Bye.